An update in the Sean Diddy Combs saga. It's not getting better for him. Spoiler alert. He's now facing criminal charges as a grand jury has been selected to hear evidence against him in a federal probe. Now, he's been named in 8 lawsuits accusing him of sexual assault and human trafficking. And Homeland Security investigators are reportedly still gathering evidence in the case. But this is all developing at the same time that the Rolling Stone, they researched for like 6 months. They called all of Diddy's former friends and colleagues. I believe that they reached out to about 300 of them, and about only 50 of them actually spoke on the record, but found out kind of a slew of information. I would just say, look, if he's bad and there's evidence to show that he was sex trafficking and he engaged in sexual assault, screw him. I think throw the book at him. But this is a little bit of a hit piece because we don't have any evidence to prove any of this, but allegedly, Casey Sheridan, who was a member of the United States girl group Dream, told Rolling Stone that she was summoned for a meeting with Diddy at a Beverly Hills hotel when she was 15 years old, where he emerged in a bathrobe. And they said in their report, Combs wielded his growing power to bend people to his will, sources claim, sending staffers to win back one-time girlfriend Jennifer Lopez, beating a label executive bloody after he became romantically involved with Combs' ex-partner Kim Porter and allegedly trying to solicit sex from a woman on his payroll. Several women who attended Howard University with him claimed to Rolling Stone that they had seen signs of a controlling and abusive personality decades ago. And then, of course, some classmates said that he had previously unreported incidents involving unwanted touching and fits of rage. So things are not looking good for Diddy. Now, I know we've talked about this particular topic quite a bit as it's been unraveling, as the video was leaked of him brutally assaulting, I would say, his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. That is not part of any of this because that was a settlement that was already reached outside of, criminal court. But there's a lot to still be played out here. And it looks like, we kept going back and forth. Is he actually going to pay? Is he not? And it seems to be that he is the sacrificial lamb, so to speak, in this industry, which I know, Matt, you are well aware is just rife with this type of behavior.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's, he is the one that they're offering up for. And you have to think, well, why is that? It's like with Weinstein, like, why was he the one? And I maintain it that Weinstein was just too powerful, and after a while, people just wanted to get rid of him. I mean, the whole notion that everyone was shocked about what Harvey Weinstein was doing was just absurd. And it's just, if this has been going on for so long, it's the same thing. You can't tell me that people didn't know or that they didn't, speak. I mean, there's part of me I look at that Rolling Stone, and Rolling Stone are just piece of work anyway. It's ridiculous. But like all of a sudden they go back to his people at college, that all of a sudden they're saying that he had signs back then. Come on.
I know. And that's why I'm saying this is all kind of a hit piece. So I don't know how much I buy it, but clearly they're all in destroying Diddy.
Yeah, they want to smash him. I mean, and like you said, if he's done those things, then he should be.
Yeah.
But again, we're talking about the innocent until proven guilty, right? Like allegations until they go through the process. And this is America.
Now, I will say the leaked video is pretty damning that he was guilty of that particular crime.
Yeah, but like you said, I mean, and look, I'm no Diddy defender,
Diddy apologist.
Whatever that is. I'm not a Diddy apologist. It's funny. But like, that is one, if we're looking at what's going on with Trump, right? You have to, this is one of the great things about the United States of America. You are innocent until proven guilty, and the process to go through, and I keep saying it, we've had it with the cops that have been accused of things, like let the process go through, like don't get out the traps. One of the negative things about having social media is people are so desperate to be the first to break something. Like they're so desperate to get out there. And sometimes you can get out there and you'll be ahead of the curve and you'll be good. Like you've got the scoop. But other times, hang on a second, you kind of you're diverting justice really by doing these things. And I just think we should let it play out. And then the truth will come out. It will come out eventually. But I think that we have to be really mindful of the process, the legal process.
Yeah, I really, to your point, wonder whose toes did this guy step on?
I know.
I mean, when you're a guy like that in your circle and then your circle, I mean, everybody knows sort of your day-to-day, the things that you get up to, and they're fine with it because maybe they themselves personally partake or because they are dependent upon you for income or status or something. But at what point did he like cross a line where all this stuff had to come out? Same thing with Weinstein, even Epstein, frankly, like the fact that there were criminal proceedings against him, like why was that even happening in the first place? Because you have to understand when you're a guy like that who is at the nexus of some sort of power conglomerate, there is something to be said about like a sense of mutually assured destruction where, okay, well, if stuff comes out about you, then maybe you start saying stuff that this person did or something. So yeah, I hope that the truth does come out to the extent that it's like, oh, so that's who he crossed and that's why all this stuff was happening.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure that we will ever, I mean,
probably
to your point, you're right. Do we know who it was with Harvey Weinstein? Do we know who it was with Jeffrey Epstein? I certainly don't.
Epstein, maybe. Like everybody.
Well, but I'm just saying, like,
Schneider,
what was
I think I have a hunch, which is that, you know,
everyone hates you for your Dan Schneider hot
and
take.
that's the integrity of it, you know? That's the thing. It's
a bad take.
It's a thankless job I make. And by the way, it's not even like Harvey Weinstein, for example, where I'm like some actress coming out like, oh, you know, I still like Harvey, like signaling to other producers, like, I won't tell on you. I won't be a problem. I don't know Dan Schneider. I have no aspirations to be a child actor. Like, I get nothing for this except truth. And the fact that you can't even conceive of that as a legitimate motive, I think betrays your character, actually. Tossing stones at Dan Schneider. What about Sara Gonzales?
Sara Gonzales is tossing stones at Dan Schneider for getting in a hot tub with a young girl and for coming up with scenes that Ariana Grande is like making a motion that you should not be making.
You just don't understand child humor.
Jerking a potato or whatever.
And you know, Ariana Grande, she was 18 at the time. She went on to write songs that are very explicit. You think she didn't know what she was doing?
I'm not saying that she didn't, but he was the showrunner.
Okay.
This was all done under him.
Before we go through Dan Schneider's whole, the point is, the reason that this all has come out against Dan Schneider is because you look at the documentary that we all maybe saw, and it's talking about Dan Schneider as a pedophile. Dan Schneider did all this.
And I agree, that's wrong to label him that way.
There's all these pictures of him being a big creepy fat guy, but then
he is a big creepy fat guy.
He's a person of size.
But he's creepy.
I concede that. You look at the actual allegations against him, and it's all of these like disgruntled child actors saying that he was sexist and he was racist and he was saying things that were abusive. He was controlling and manipulative. So what I think tends to happen is everybody is very willing to go along with terrible behavior in people if they think it means they will have their careers advanced.
I agree with you.
And it's only when they cross a few lines, whether, well, he didn't give me my big break, he didn't do, that all of a sudden, well, actually, I have a big problem with the things that this guy is doing and blah, 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 because, you know, like the documentary, for example, that was the biggest thing these kids have been involved in since the hot tub clip. And now it's...
I totally agree with you. But to your point, what do I have to gain from it? I don't want to be in that world either.
You're
but
paid off by Cartoon Network. You have an incentive. To take down Nickelodeon.
Okay, but just final question on this. Mm-hmm. Did Dan Schneider?
This, I know. I'm like this going.
Did Dan Schneider engage in extremely creepy behavior with minors?
The question, did Dan Schneider engage in creepy behavior with minors, begs the question, what do you mean by Dan Schneider?
Would you approve of the decisions that he made and the places he put himself in with young girls if that was your daughter? Would you approve of that?
Like, no.
Okay. Thank you.
He's like,
my point is like,
you got me on that.
I don't want to agree with you, Sarah, but I guess you have a point.
And the same honesty that compels me to defend Dan Schneider compels me to answer your question the way you wanted it to be answered.
And I appreciate that integrity, John. Okay. If you like this clip and you want to see the full episode, click here. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, come on, you know you do. Click here.